Secret House.
Secret House.
La Maison Secrète.
Thank you for tuning in. Secret House Against the World. Some of you know us, some of you do not. We are a Tokyo-based album review group. I am Mega. Do you want to do names? You can see it at the bottom.
Short Hair Jet.
Yeah.
Dude on the left.
Yeah, and today, today we're reviewing the Redveil album, Learn to Swim. 12 songs, 35 minutes by Redveil. The way that I like to start off our reviews, especially when it's an artist like Redveil, who a lot of people may not be familiar with, I like us to talk about how we found out about him and general thoughts on the artist, right? So for me, I'm kind of new to the party. I feel like I didn't hear about Redveil. I'm not sure exactly where I found out about him, but it's been within like the last 2 or 3 months.
Had to be. The dude's 16 years old.
Well, he's 18. He's 18.
He's 18 now?
He turned 18 on. He released his album on his 18th birthday.
Oh,
so he's
okay.
18 now. But yeah, like he's a young cat. I don't even know where he's from. Do y'all know?
Chicago.
It do sound like some Chicago shit.
I want to say it was Chicago. I looked it up. I think it's Chicago.
But yeah,
don't hold me to that.
He's a young rapper, producer, all in one type of artist. He was just on tour with Mike. Shout out to Mike.
He's from Maryland,
Freddie
by the way.
Gibbs. Oh, from Maryland. Yeah. And
Maryland.
Yeah. So I'm kind of new. I want to say that maybe I saw the album. No, I heard about it before that. I don't know where I heard about it. Maybe it came up on Spotify, like related to an artist. Maybe the Fly Anakin track came up on my playlist, and I found out about him then. Or it could have been. There's another reviewer called Chimezier, who is a young cat who reviews albums. Shout out to him. I think he follows us as well, but maybe I heard about it from him. Yeah, he's dope. Follow him too. He does album reviews. Yeah. How you find out about him? Through me? Through us?
Through you asking us to review.
Yeah,
this.
that's how I learned about it.
Okay,
that's
power.
Yeah, first time.
Can I just jump into it real quick?
Yeah, do it.
I got so much to say about this album.
Please
dog.
do.
Get it.
First, let me say, Learn to Swim is magnificent. This album is a young man growing up and like finding his way in the world, and he's rapping and making beats way above his weight class. Like somebody at this age making this type of beats and this kind of music, it's like there's still some growth that needs to happen. This like album wasn't a masterpiece.
It's a diamond in the rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't put this on like greatest album ever, and this guy is like a prodigy. But I'm telling you, with some training, this dude could be the next Swindle. Dead ass.
Swindle, okay.
Yeah, he could be the next Swindle because Swindle's tracks just go hard, and this guy's track go hard too, man. His rap style needs little tweaks. And when I say tweaks, man, I don't mean like he's rapping bad, but it still feels like he needs some growth in his lyrics and his content. But the content he's talking about to be young is awesome. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree with you, man. Like this, I was really surprised how fully formed of an artist he sounds for such a young age. I mean, you hear stories about like, Nas wrote it when he was like 16. Idea wrote, Firstborn when he was young. And there's of course possibility for those type of cats, but this, it doesn't sound unpolished. It almost sounds like a studio album from a major without the studio involvement. It sounds very much like a unique voice. There's a variety within the tracks, the production. He styles differently. Even some of the guest features on this, even him touring with Mike and Freddie Gibbs is such a strange dichotomy. And for him being young, he must have come up on this kind of wave of just being allowed to do it.
It was some studying done. Dude has looked at multiple genres of music. You can tell this man is classically trained. Is that right? You can tell.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can tell by listening to the chord progressions and how he's playing this stuff. Like even
I just mean, did you confirm that, or are you just saying you noticed it? Okay,
I just noticed that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he produced it all.
Huh?
He produced it.
I believe
all
so.
himself?
Yeah.
The whole album was self-produced.
Yeah.
So when I listen to somebody who's choosing those drum loops and how they're put together, I'm like, oh, dude has a classical ear. Dude has listened to multiple genres of music to put together this type of music. Dare I say it? Kind of like DJ L. Spade. Had to throw myself in there. It's all about me.
He's dope.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I completely agree. The only thing with the production and the composition that kind of threw me a little bit is that there's some really, really excellent chopping. There's some really beautiful sample choices. The drums sound great on here. But every now and then there's some really like amateurish sounding MIDI that shows up on there.
I agree.
You hear like little MIDI like synth lines or something that almost sound like, like Mary Had a Little Lamb level of simple, just dun 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 dun, just like
Need some growth. Yes.
It was like, considering how like well considered the chord progressions are, I don't know if he's chopping a sample or if he's playing that in himself.
He's layering samples on the top.
He's laying samples on top of stuff. And
yeah.
the way it's all applied, the collaging is beautiful, but then there's just some very crude drawing on top in places where I'm like, I don't know if that's just an intentional choice that he didn't want to overcrowd the tracks, because the production is pretty cluttered in places. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, there's a lot going on in the production. It's busy in places, and maybe he didn't want to make it too busy, so he kept it simple. But there were definitely times where I was like, oh, you just like opened up the like arrangement view in Ableton and went click, 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 click.
But
dun,
that's
dun, dun,
why,
dun, and then that's it.
That's why the album is called Learning to Swim, though. You got somebody just jumping off the porch.
I got thoughts on Learn to Swim as well.
It's a guy jumping off the porch, coming out into the world right now and getting his start. And for like an introduction album, for me to hear this, I'm like, yo, bro, yeah. Even the whole diving board.
So
go ahead.
My favorite element of this album, my favorite thing about Redveil as a rapper, is that he's so good at theming. Mm-hmm. His use of themes in this album is amazing. Like obviously you got learning to swim. Like you have that kind of dichotomy of, okay, he's talking about this idea of going out into the world and striking out with a reconciliation of his own blackness and the idea that, a lot of black people don't know how to swim. It's this idea of like, learning to swim, learning to survive, and how those things mirror each other, how a lot of black people have to learn to survive and they never learn how to swim. And then he brings it back in different places. On Diving Board, obviously the track's called Diving Board, he talks about holding his nose. He's talking about, getting through water, and not being weighed down.
Hold your nose when you're learning to swim. Oh!
On working on it, I think he
idea.
talks about showing skin. He says he's afraid to show skin. He's like, it's not about swimming. It's about actually being able to be vulnerable and expose yourself. On shoulder, he uses the shoulder as this kind of two-sided thing in which he's talking about looking back over your shoulder at the past while simultaneously talking about having to look over your shoulder and watch your back. There was another.
I'm glad you made notes, because I didn't make notes, but it's
on Mars. He talks about space and being an alien.
Before you get to that shoulder, I kind of disagree with you on that, man.
Okay,
like can you redo that take, because I just want to make sure I heard it right.
So I'm saying that the whole idea of looking over your shoulder is a double meaning. It's a double entendre. He's talking about both like this idea of like introspection and like looking back at yourself and looking back at the past, while also the idea of having to watch your back.
Okay, no, we agree. I'm sorry. I said the same thing. I'm sorry. Just making sure.
Sorry, I might have worded that clumsily because I was getting excited. I'm excited, but this kid excites me because he's so young and he's so fucking brilliant already.
Bro,
Mars, the track's called Mars. He uses aliens as a metaphor, while also talking about literal alienation. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's like been reading theory and he's talking about capitalist alienation, if he's trying to get a bit left on it maybe, and he's just developing his own ideology.
Y'all find a way.
I'll find a way to
I do have a note about alienation too.
to read that into it. But it's dope. It's amazing how he takes these very, very simple concepts like shoulder, swimming, sky, and then expands them out into these multifaceted, very like complex, introspective ideas. My only problem is I think his overall reading, his overall lyricism can be pretty surface level. There's a lot of like
need some growth, yeah.
I mean, it's very like, we're positive, we're coming up, we're doing good, hate is bad. I don't much care for that. But I think the way it's all framed, the way that it all comes together through his theming, the way it mixes with the production is brilliant.
And the potential for him to grow as an artist.
For him to grow as an artist
he's
as
there.
well.
Like, he's going to be there. Next album.
I appreciate, thanks for making so many notes, because I didn't make many notes on this album because I found myself you know, a lot of the music I listen to, I like to dive into the lyrics and I try to pull something out. And because he's not that lyrically dense, I didn't have to take a lot of time to do that.
Yeah.
I was able to just enjoy the album. I turn it on, I find myself like, damn, I've listened to the whole album again. And it's just, even though I tend to dislike a lot of the positivity, you know, we've talked about that before. His positivity doesn't fuck with me in a wrong way. Maybe it was because I was listening to the Quelle Chris Death Fame album along with the Kendrick, both albums that are very serious.
Needed some positivity.
This shit just made me feel good again. It made me feel happy, man.
I think because there's that youthful exuberance.
Yeah,
to
it
it.
does have that.
This isn't a 30-year-old man who's still mad about his haters.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't or the fucking Homeboy Sandman album where that guy's got to be like 50 now and he's talking about like how his haters have no swag, and it's like, man, you're better than this.
Yeah.
This is youthful exuberance. This is like
potential.
the potential. This is the bright. You know, this is a burning
future's
star.
looking bright, dude.
It's like
Really.
bright star burning in the sky, and I'm a.
And shout out to having Fly Anakin.
And Overcast.
Yes, on your
shit.
album, and having them well mixed so I can hear their vocals.
Bro,
Thank you.
And on top of that, like you wouldn't, if you just played this, you wouldn't think that a Fly Anakin or Overcast would be like his contemporaries that
Exactly.
we rock
Yes.
with. But when they came on, it's just like, ooh,
Yes.
ooh,
This
all
goes
of
together.
this
Yes.
works together and it meshes well. There's a cohesion about this album. There's a direction. Everything seems intentional, whether it's a little bit Mary Had a Little Lamb or not. But man, like I was so genuinely impressed listening to this kid. 18-year-old man now, that it feels kind of like one of those moments, kind of like when Saba dropped his album. Like this could be the next. He could be on a trajectory towards real artistry and just stardom.
He is, and I don't want to come down too hard on this guy because once again, he's only 18. I think the critique we're just giving right now shows a lack of experience. When dude get a little more like experience under his belt, he's gonna be able to like form better beats and more thought out lyrics and stuff like that. But I would never expect this level of creativity and genius from somebody who's 18 years old. Like I said, way above his weight class for me personally. So the critique that he needs tweaking and needs growth, yes, he does. But once again, it's only so much I want an 18-year-old to give me.
It's not even like a critical take on it at all. It's just
Right.
like when you talk, the only time I just turned 39 like the other week, right? And the only time that I feel old is when I'm around young people that sound stupid to me.
Oh, man.
Right? You go around, I'll be around 22-year-olds and be like, everything you have to say about everything is
It's
just
dumb.
weird and off and wrong and inexperienced to me. With him, it'd be like me and the kid be like, yo, word? All right.
Who raised you?
All right, you got your head on right. You going in the right direction. Let me hip you to this artist.
Right.
Let me hip you to that artist so you can pick it up. But already he's surrounding himself with good company. Maybe Freddie Gibbs aside, but
Oh man, Gibbs gotta catch it straight.
I like Gibbs, but Gibbs got big goofy energy over the last few years. But he's rocking with Mike, who is another young, not young, but he's one of those artists who's putting himself out. He's learning the system. He's not really buying into the music industry. He's figuring out himself. And I fucking love an artist who is all in one production house, an MC, beat maker. If you do your own turntablism and all that, the name of the Secret House Against the World is actually named after a Buck 65 album, who is very much like that. I don't like that album, but I've always liked the title, and that's why I came with that. But I love an artist who's an MC producer.
I appreciate the fact that he's doing it all himself. That said, maybe the singing needs some work.
Okay, singing was terrible on the album, but once again, as a guy myself who does everything by himself, I gotta make it about me. Sorry, Jet. You used to be like,
Yeah, me
really?
too. Me too. I do everything myself. Huh?
So I'm saying we can appreciate somebody who actually going off, and because at that point you have no excuse not to wait on anybody. And I feel like because this guy's doing everything himself, the next album gonna be like shitty sharp.
Well, it's funny in that. So I was thinking, specifically on working on it on the last track. He opens with that song passage where he's like, "I don't want to run no more," and it's like he's just blasting you at it, right? And there's not a lot of dynamics in the voice, and it almost feels like it was inspired by like listening to My Chemical Romance or Sum 41 or something, like some rock music he was listening to as a kid. And I think that's dope that he's like genre blending in that way, and that he's able to, draw from all these different sounds and techniques. He's obviously got a very diverse musical palette.
I don't like that track.
but I don't much care for the singing and the delivery.
That's how I know the album's done, because I get to that, I'm like, okay, I could just restart over to top.
Yeah, he needs to get some
I don't care for that
singers.
one.
That, once again, that's a choice.
But also, he's doing
your
I
mileage
appreciate
may
that
vary.
he's-
You know, the listener's mileage may vary. They may like that. It's not for me.
also, he's doing everything himself, and that fierce independent spirit is more important than having a good guest feature come and sing.
And
some
it
shit
could
for you.
be, once again, you know this by doing everything yourself. It could be that maybe I wanted somebody else to sing that, but it didn't come through. It's a couple of
possible.
tracks I had that like, oh, I want somebody to sing on this, but nobody came through. So that's why you end up having like one artist singing like 5 on 5 of my tracks, because the people I asked to, they was bullshitting. So I can get that too. I don't know the whole story behind this, but like doing everything by yourself ain't easy. So you get all the respect from me on that. And sometimes it is what it is. Like, put it out. Maybe he knew he was terrible singing.
You know, I because I didn't know much about the artist this morning, I was looking for like interviews or something, right? And I came across, I thought it was a music video, and it's just called, 18. And I was like, okay, maybe he got a song called 18. He just turned 18. But when you go to it, all it is a bunch of his like artists that are older than him, Denzel Curry, Saba, all of these people just kicking game to him. Like, he asked him a question like, what would you have wanted to know about music or about this, industry when you were 18? And all of them are just kicking knowledge to him. So his music is reaching people. His music is getting out. I mean, Denzel Curry is one of the biggest artists. Like, he got, one of the illest albums this year too. And for an 18-year-old cat to be getting recognized by this level of artistry, you can only think that his trajectory is upwards. That next album, he might not have a problem getting somebody to sing those vocals. He might have, I don't know,
some singing lessons.
Yeah, Anthony Fantano might sing the vocals on it.
Don't.
I mean,
Hey, buddy.
we can get Kendrick to sing the vocals on it. You know what I mean?
Oh, jeez.
Push these. Okay, but yeah, man, I didn't make many notes on this album. All I know is that this is one of my favorite albums of the year. Whether it hits my top 10 or not, I think it probably will.
Me too.
I think it will probably
Yeah.
hit my top 10 at the end of the year, because I'm just really enjoying the kind of energy I'm getting from this album, and I keep on finding little things about it that I enjoy, like that beat switch on Automatic with the Fly Anakin
beat
joint at
switch
the
is
end.
sick, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I listened to that track over and over just to get to that part again.
You know why he's so great, right? His name is Marcus. Anybody with the name Marcus has to be a great person.
we share that. We share
Oh, yeah,
that.
we do. Yeah,
We share that. You know what I mean?
Marcus, man.
Yeah. So
Genius.
I mean, yeah. Also, like he can swim.
Oh, he's learning to at least.
Yeah. I mean, look, he fully submerged. He fully submerged on the album cover.
Last photo ever taken of him.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Upside down
Oh,
cross.
man.
Redveil drowned while shooting his album cover.
Word. I
Too
mean,
soon.
final. Since we've already talked about it a lot. Like, what are your favorite? Did you have a favorite song on the album? Mine has got to be. I really like Automatic. That's got Fly Anakin and Overcast.
That's a good song.
I'm waiting for a new Overcast album. I'm waiting heavy for that. I also like I like Home. I like I like that 3-track run. Automatic, Home, and Mars are some of my favorite moments. And maybe Shoulder. I like Shoulder. PG Baby. I mean,
PG Baby.
Yeah, PG Baby is hard.
You're just naming every song on the
Yeah,
album at
pretty
this
much.
point.
Pretty much.
Everything but Working on It, which was also my least favorite track on the
Yeah.
album for the singing.
You want to see a track list?
Shoulder,
Well-
Morphine, Automatic, PG Baby Home. Yeah. Together was a great intro as well. I like
Together was
everything
a
on that
great
album.
way to start an album. I just said that.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. I think my favorite song will probably have to be Automatic, because as I wrote here, I love Fly Anakin when I can understand him, and there's a good mix on his voice.
Bet.
Fly Anakin, man, seriously, I want to love you. Just mix the shit.
I feel that. I don't have those same problems with it, but I mean, I feel that. You can hear him well on this.
Man,
3-point
such-
rating system, best ever
Yeah.
album, trash, definitely best.
This is
best
dope.
ever.
Greatest album
Like,
ever.
Best album ever, for sure.
If I had to assign a
Best album
numerical,
ever.
if I had to assign a numerical value to it, I would give it like a high 7, a low 8.
high 7,
like,
low
yeah, I
8,
really
yeah.
do enjoy this.
I'm giving this a 7.5.
Yeah, there's improvements to be made, but I mean, I don't really care. I'm just
Diamond in the
enjoying
Rough,
it.
Man.
and just watching somebody that good, that young, doing what they do is really encouraging. Who knows what the next album?
Let me tell you
will
something,
sound
young
like.
man. You got a future in this game. you young man. You're the truth. I would love to see the trajectory of your career. You keep on doing what you're doing, young man. You be motivated.
I'm sure
Uncle L Spade loves you.
this guy who's like established at the age of 18 is really appreciating the cosign from Marcus L. Spade
so-
Some
Johnson.
dude in Tokyo. Hey, I'm in Tokyo,
Some
boy. Let
guy.
me tell ya.
It's like so weird to think about that. Like this fool wasn't even alive during like 9/11.
Word,
You know,
right?
we
Yeah.
graduated high school already, and this man was just
Right.
coming out. Yeah, but word, man, Secret House Against the World. Oh, did you give yours?
Yeah, he said greatest album ever.
I'll be
Greatest
forgetting.
album ever.
You know, my
Yeah,
brain
like
don't
high
remember.
seven,
brain.
high 7, low 8,
I get excited.
light 8. I should say. I don't want to say low 8. Oh, I'll do the Fantano.
7.5.
Light 8.
Okay,
because low
okay.
8 sounds like I'm downgrading.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is
We
just
got-
in that region.
We're
Like,
gonna have to come up with our own, nomenclature, our own language for it, I guess. But yeah, man, Secret House Against the World.
did you like it?
Comment, subscribe.
Did you hate it?
How would
Why?
you rate it?
How would you rate it?
You're the best. You're the best.
Listen
What else
to
does it
this
say?
album.
I don't
You're
know.
the
I
best,
don't
you're the
actually
best.
watch.
What should I
Fantano.
review next?
I don't watch dude.
Yeah, I mean, I like watching it for albums that are not rap albums.
Secret thingy fan house? No. The internet's
I see what you did there.
busiest.
Oh, there
Fuck
goes
the
that beat
whole
drop. All right, we could play this because we're not going to get copyright strike because my man is all independent and shit.
Well,
Please.
you never know.
The samples.
I'd be
I
very
don't know.
funny
Figure
if
it out.
Redveil saw this and then just copyright struck us.
Like, you know
for
what?
shits and giggles.
Yo, I'll cancel him. I'll go on the internet and cancel him.
Oh, I need to
will start a
grow, huh?
campaign. Yeah, I'm not for cancel culture.
I was
but
on the
ain't-
internet before
ain't
you
no-
were born.
Ain't no 18-year-old about to. You know what I mean? You ain't telling me shit, young man.
Let me tell you something,
Go
young
sit in
man.
the corner, boy. All right, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Peace.
Listen to this album, for real though.